Hello everyone and welcome back to NCAA 2004, entering year number 5, the Alabama Crimson Tide year number 5. Coming off of our biggest loss, basically snapping our longest win streak, we're looking to restart that and essentially get back to that promised land of the Fiesta Bowl. But it all starts here today with the second to last ranked team in all of FBS, the Army Black Knights. So this is probably going to be our most unpatriotic video that I post taking on Army, because we look to really kind of iron some things out against the Black Knights and really get through as much of the acclimation process as possible with a lot of our new starters that we have. So the game's not televised. That's what this means whenever you don't get an intro. So we're going to use the opening kickoff to give my spiel. So we lost 5 of our top contributors on both sides of the ball last season. And Carlos Cobb, our transfer quarterback, who came in one year, won an award for best quarterback and dipped. Jameel Spears and Chris Kelly, our top receivers, are also gone. And then our top safeties, both starting safeties, Ben Matthews and Steve Collins, also left after winning some hardware. So we have new starters at all those positions, as well as around the rest of the roster. So we're going to be calling out those people as you see. So defense is getting started quick here on a 3rd and 11, and already we have a new starter here in Rick Sloan, the new starting free safety, gets his hand on the football and bats that one down. So 1st and 10 now for the Crimson Tide offense here. Tim Lewis finds Chad Whitaker with a huge spin move, and he's off in open space, and there's no one going to catch him as he's got that speed. And the freshman All-American, who had 13 touchdowns last season, gets his first of the year right here early on. It was just one play. The Alabama offense already one play. So if you just take that one play as a sample size for the rest of the game, then things are going to go well. But unfortunately, we do have an entire game to get through, and things can and probably will go wrong. So we need to be patient here. So 1st and 10 here once again on offense, as Army's offense has struggled. Tim Lewis throws this one out, and it's batted around. It is caught by DeJon Carroll, who was perfectly in position to catch the ball off of the bat, off of the deflection, if you will. So an amazing heads-up play by Carroll to make the catch here. That was a throw attempt to Scott Mitchell, our new freshman recruit, that we will hopefully see a lot in this game. So 3rd and 7 now. Tim Lewis wants the option play here, but he bounces out of it, thinks about throwing it, but instead he's just going to run for it, and he does pick up the first down. So an athletic play by Tim Lewis. We're not really used to a running quarterback. Cobb, of course, ran the option a lot last year, but he wasn't always the fastest and was really just kind of there to set up the pitch for Lamont Farrell. So if Tim Lewis could run the ball a bit more effectively, that would be a lot of fun. So on the next play, he's going to fire this one to the end zone, and it's batted and picked off in the end zone. So after an amazing offensive play with his legs, he makes a terrible offensive play with his arm. So one pick. So we know Cobb was good for some turnovers, and maybe Tim Lewis is as well. He threw quite a bit last season in his limited time as a starter. He had 6 touchdowns and 5 picks, I'm pretty sure. So this is his first real shot as a starter. With 1 second left in the quarter, Tim Lewis is going to roll out to his right here, or to his left, and he's going to find Sean Watts, the sophomore tight end. He was a freshman last year. He's returning as a starter as a sophomore this year, and he gets a huge catch here in this game against Army. So the first quarter will come to a close. Only 7 points to speak of here. Kind of a slow start, but Alabama does this all the time. Think of all the FCS games where Alabama comes out and only scores once or is trailing after one quarter. Don't worry about it. So Tim Lewis drops back here, a home run shot to the end zone, and he had a couple open receivers, but all that matters is he found one, and that one open receiver was Scott Mitchell, the freshman, the 5-star recruit, number 1 receiver in the country, coming out of high school from Pella, Iowa. He gets a catch in this ball game here and gets himself his first touchdown of hopefully many in being a part of the Crimson Tide. So, but Army's offense, they're not going to take this one sitting down here. As Avery, their quarterback, fires one downfield here and just finds the hole in the zone here. There was a few guys in the area, but no one was really playing that tight on the receiver, and that's a huge completion for Army's offenses. Now they're looking to move the football here. They've got plenty of time to do so. Avery rolls to his right and fires to his left, and that ball is batted again, but this time it is caught. So amazing concentration by Army's receivers to make that catch. And there was a lot of Crimson Tide defenders there. It was a terrible ball to throw, terrible location on the field to go with the football, as you had all those guys in the vicinity. And I'm pretty sure that was Rick Sloan, again, the free safety, who came up, tried to make a play on the ball and get the pick, but it just went right through his hands. So that's a touchdown for Army. And Army's offense, again on the field, facing a 3rd and 10. Avery's going to drop back here. He's got plenty of time to throw, wants a deep shot down the field, and that one is somehow caught in a whole mess of Crimson Tide defenders. There's about 4 guys surrounding him in that area. but somehow he's the one who comes down with it. I have no idea. Someone's got to explain that one to me. So a 3rd and 6 now for Army's offense. They're going to fake the handoff here, and then Avery's going to fire it to the goal line, and that one's going to get picked off. You had Rick Sloan and another defender in the area. Looks like we brought an extra corner for this defensive formation, because that guy is not on my depth chart. He's not one of our starting linebackers, and he's not one of our starting DBs. So he's got to be like 4th or 5th on the depth chart here that I just missed. So, but he gets himself an interception in this game. Good on you, buddy. So 1st and 10 now. Tim Lewis tries to evade some pressures that is quickly in the backfield, and he manages to do so and finds Chad Whitaker for a 1st down. So that is a very nice athletic play. We've seen a couple of those now from Tim Lewis. It's a little bit more than Carlos Cobb would do. Remember, Carlos Cobb was a bit of a statue in the pocket. So good to see Tim Lewis can use his legs and get free. And another man who can do that is Chad Whitaker. And how do you leave him that open, guys? How do you leave him that open? I'm going to need that one explained, Mr. Black Knights. How are you going to leave Chad Whitaker that freaking open, man? He's a freshman All-American. He had almost 1,000 yards last year, and you're going to leave him that wide open? Do not let him behind you. That should be the defensive scheme for everyone trying to guard Chad Whitaker. Do not let him get behind you. So we score some more points here, but we're not done yet, as Tim Lewis fires one across the middle in between Chad Whitaker and Scott Mitchell. They're running slants, and Scott Mitchell's the one who comes down with it. So we don't care as long as someone's catching that football. We do not care. So 1st and 10 here from the 20-yard line, just at the red zone. Tim Lewis evading some pressure, dumps it off quickly here, and finds an open receiver. And now this receiver is not on my depth chart either, because we're rocking Chad Whitaker receiver 1, Scott Mitchell receiver 2, and DeJon Carroll 3. So anyone who's 4th and below, we're not considering. But on 2nd and goal here to the next play, we're going to go right back to Scott Mitchell, because it keeps working, dude. It just keeps working. You're not covering him, and you're not covering Chad Whitaker. So where do you think Tim Lewis is going with the football? Maybe Army will figure out in the second half, but in the first half, they have not, as they are now down 28-7. And this game might get out of hand here unless Army can answer back quickly. So their offense is on the field trying to do something with the last minute and change that they have, and it's a huge pickup inside the 25 for Army. So they just might get in position where they could maybe add some points here before half. They don't need a field goal. They obviously need a touchdown. So we'll see if they can do that. Time taken away on 1st and 10. Avery going to try and run the option. He's gobbled up in the backfield. Running back shakes off one defender, and he's off to the races, cuts upfield, and it looks like he's going to get the 1st down. So, and he was well buried in the backfield, but there's a flag on the field, and add 5 more yards, because Jeremy Walls, our tackle leader, or sack leader from last year, gets himself a little bit too much face mask. So that's going to put him in goal-to-go situation with 46 seconds left to go. So a huge defensive breakdown to end our half is not what I want to see. Avery with the option play, and again, not much space to go as Rick Sloan makes that tackle on the outside edge. And it looks like the option's not going to be an option for them, but maybe they can run it up the middle. Who knows? They're going to run hurry up here with time ticking away to about 30 seconds. Avery got some pressure in his face, but he's got an open receiver, and I think it's the running back who we found in the end zone. So Army is going to answer back with a touchdown of their own before the half is over. As much as we'd love to carry a 21-point blowout into the halftime locker room, it looks like Army has some other plans. They have some other plans, as Randolph and Rick Sloan were a little bit late getting to that play here. Once again, Avery finding the hole in the zone, and hey, that might be some promise here if you're Army. That might be some promise from your quarterback. So 18 seconds left in the half here. You would think there's nothing that can happen in 18 seconds, right? But Tim Lewis is going to drop back here, surveys the field, fires off a deep shot here, and who else but DeJon Carroll, and there's no one behind, and he's off to the races along the sideline, and it's another Crimson Tide touchdown with just 14 seconds left to work. Our offense finds a way to get into the end zone one more time before that clock hits triple zeros, because the starters clearly want their job to be done as soon as possible. They clearly want to be off the field as early as they can. They do not want to play an entire 4-quarter game, and they probably won't at this rate, as we already got 35 in the first half. So if the defense can do their job, then we'll be able to do that and get on out of here a little bit earlier than expected. So 35-14 is your score here after 2 quarters of play here. Now in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, both offenses struggling to do much of anything, and Nate Allen is going to check into the game here and get his first touchdown of the season. We didn't really see much of him last year, really hardly any of them last year, because we were starting number 15, who was a senior, but now it is Nate Allen's gig entirely, and he gets it to 42-14 in the third quarter. So now you would imagine backups are probably in the game, and they are. That is Roach, our backup quarterback, and he's got the boys within the 10-yard line, and we're going to hand it off to the backup running back Garrett Lewis, who's going to get into the end zone and get his first touchdown of the season. He had a few last year, he did a little bit in some blowouts. He made his name known. He had a big play last year, you remember that. But we're going to add one more touchdown on top of that I didn't feel was important to see. So we're going to finish this game 56-14. That touchdown late for Army was all that they had in the tank. That was just pretty much it. That was all they had left. They blew out all their steam in that. Tim Lewis, a very nice showing here. Only has to play about 3/4 of the game to get through it here, and that's going to do it for the first game here. Not kind of a big game to show. I kind of realized that once I got out, and we'll look at the schedule. But I started off with the first game last year, and it was very entertaining with San Diego State. So I figure the same could happen here. Just show off the first game, just kind of get acclimated to the new roster and the new names and everything, that's kind of the point. So we played in a damn near perfect game, and you probably should against a team like Army, but we don't play FCS opponents. That's something I try and get away from. I don't like playing FCS opponents, so this is the closest we're going to get. So Tim Lewis here, 17 for 27, 413 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's enough to make you overlook the bad interception that he had. And, hey, again, Carlos Cobb was always good for one, so I can't hate him too much. Lamont Farrell, only 29 yards, so Army really snuffed out the running attack that was Marquise Houston, excuse me. So that was our number one fullback recruit who got the touchdown, not Nate Allen, the starting fullback. So that was our top fullback recruit that we got this offseason. So he got the touchdown, I guess, as the backups were already kind of in. Receiving core, you already saw that broke down. Already got Scott Mitchell and Chad Whitaker involved quite a bit. David Ford, who's the new starting strong safety, also had himself a pretty good, productive day on defense. But heading now back to the Hub World, we pick up a huge win over Buffalo out of the MAC, of course, and then we get another kind of grimy win over Kentucky. Not as big of a win as it has been in the past, but we do beat Kentucky, and that's going to take us into our last out-of-conference game. I think it's our last out-of-conference game against the SMU Mustangs in Dallas. So hope to see you guys there when we take on the SMU Mustangs to continue our reign of terror winning games.